Hi Warriors, this is Mrs. Painter and today I'm going to be teaching you about multi-step equations, how to solve them when they specifically involve combining like terms. So in order to begin, let's first go back and review what a like term actually is. So a like term is going to have the same variable to the same power. So when we look at this first example, we've got 8x minus 6x minus 25 is equal to negative 35. So knowing that this is an equation with an equal sign, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my wall in because I know that I need to keep both sides of this equation balanced at all times. And then the next thing I need to do is I need to look at what I've got on both the left and the right side. And when I look at 8x minus 6x, I notice that I have like terms. So what I'm going to do is I like to use a strategy called shape coding, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to shape any term that has a variable to the same power, like the x. I'm going to give that a certain shape. So I'm going to circle any term that has x to the first power with a blue circle. And I'm also going to include the sign in front of it if there's a sign. So like this negative 6x, I'm going to include the negative. And then negative 25 does not have an x on it, so I'm not going to include that, and negative 35 does not either. So instead, I'm going to give them a different shape, and because I have color, I'm also going to give them a different color. So I'm going to give them a box or a square. So now I can see that before I move on, I want to look on each side of my equation. And I see that on the left side specifically, I've got 2 that I can combine. 8x minus 6x. And because I'm not moving across to the other side of the equation, I don't want to do the inverse operation. I just want to do the operation that's stated. So all I'm going to do is do 8 minus 6. So 8 minus 6 is equal to 2. And I'm going to include my x. The x doesn't go anywhere. So that's how we combine that like term. And then we're just going to bring down the rest of the equation. I'm going to bring down minus 25 is equal to negative 35. Now I can see that I've got a two-step equation. So my goal is to isolate that variable that we were just talking about, which was the x. So here is my x. So I want to get that by itself. So I want to get rid of anything that isn't attached to that x, that's furthest away from it. So when I look at 2x minus 25, I can see that this negative 25 is not directly attached to the x. So I'm going to get rid of that first. And the way that I can move it to the other side and get rid of it is to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to add 25. The opposite of subtracting 25 is to add 25. And if I do that on one side, to keep it balanced, I need to also do that to the other side. So this cancels out here. Negative 25 plus 25 is technically equal to a 0. But we don't write the 0 because we don't need to. We just leave it blank. And we're going to carry down this 2x. So I'm going to bring 2x down is equal to whatever negative 35 plus 25 simplifies to. So negative 35 is in the negative, and positive 25 is positive. So they're opposite signs. So I'm going to subtract 35 minus 25 is equal to 10 because they're opposite signs. But because 35 is larger, I'm going to have an answer that's negative. So I'm going to have 2x equals negative 10. Now I'm down to a one-step equation, and all I have is x is being multiplied. That's the invisible operation. It's being multiplied by 2. So to move that to the other side, we would need to do the inverse operation, which the opposite of multiply is to divide. So I'm going to divide by 2. But if I divide by 2 on this side, because I need to keep it balanced, I need to divide by 2 on this side also. So this will cancel out, and I'm just going to bring down my x. So x is equal to negative 10 divided by 2. So a negative divided by a positive makes a negative, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we get that x is equal to negative 5. But we aren't quite done because we want to put that back in and make sure that it creates a true statement. So now I'm going to go back to my original equation, which was 8x minus 6x minus 25 is equal to negative 35. And I'm just going to rewrite it. And remember that we had a value of x equals negative 5. So I'm going to go back through this statement, and anywhere that I see the letter x, the variable x, instead I'm going to substitute in negative 5. So I've got 8 times negative 5 minus 6 times negative 5. All of that minus 25 is equal to negative 35. And actually, I'm going to put a question mark. Is it equal to negative 35? So 8 times negative 5 gives us negative 40. A negative 6 times a negative 5 makes a positive 30. We're subtracting 25. Is that equal to negative 35? So now let's just combine these two. Negative 40 plus 30. So they're opposite signs. So we're going to subtract. 40 minus 30 is 10. And 40 is larger, so it's a negative. Negative 10 minus 25. Is that equal to negative 35? So now let's combine these two. So we've got negative 10 minus 25. They're both negative, so we're going to add them, and we get 35. And because they're both negative, we're going to keep it negative. So is negative 35 equal to negative 35? Yes, it is. So x is equal to negative 5.